Hello and welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. Today we were at Brendan Theaters watching A Simple Favor. This movie has a very simple premise when it comes to the trailer. It is about two moms that meet, mothers of small children, for a play date, and they become friends, and then one of them disappears. So you've got like a mystery movie on your hands. But man, it's not as simple as it seems. This movie has twists and turns. Now keep in mind, this isn't the kind of movie that you're trying to guess the outcome. This is the kind of movie where you strap in and enjoy the ride. There is a lot of craziness in this movie. So I'm going to break this down into a few pieces. This is of course safe and spoiler free, but I want to cover some of the major aspects of this movie because there is a lot to digest. The first thing I want to cover is the acting, because in my opinion it is the strongest part of this film. Both Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively did an absolutely fantastic job. I haven't seen performances like that in a very long time. Nuanced, layered. You find out how much those performances are layered the further into the movie you get. I can't get into a whole lot of detail, but you'll know exactly what I mean when you see the movie. Anna Kendrick's character is very quirky, very bubbly, very high-strung, I guess you can say. Very much the person that volunteers for everything. Blake Lively is very blunt, very direct, and quite the enigma. Both characters are just magnetic. You can't take your eyes off of either one of them, and when they're both on screen together, the banter between them is just phenomenal. It is very hard not to crack a smile or kind of be drawn into the conversations the two of them have. One, because it's written very well and they're very interesting. The conversations are very interesting, but two, because the two of them deliver them in such an amazing way. It's very easy for those two characters to become overdone, and it's very easy for those two characters to become boring or too much. I don't believe either one of them ever crossed into any of those territories. They were always very interesting. They were always within the character that they were trying to build. As you go further in the movie, you know exactly what they're trying to build. And they just keep you glued to the screen.
So this movie was very interesting. It's one where the trailer kind of draws you in and it makes you say, I think I might want to sit down and watch that. But it doesn't let on how charming and funny this movie can be at times, and how creepy and unsettling in other moments it can become. This was some of what I expected, and I did expect some lightness due to the fact that Anna Kendrick is impossible to not be charming and hilarious. And it shows, like in the scenes that she's in, she steals the show. She has this energy about her that the only person I know of that can quantify these types of things. She just has a glow about her. I don't know if it's her aura or what, but when she's on screen, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna feel things, and she just has, like I said, a lot of charm. Getting past her performance, because she is fantastic. She's in fantastic in just about anything she's in. Blake Lively, this is probably the best performance of her career in my opinion. Typically, not a big fan. She is grating at times depending on what movie she's in. Not the case here. She's mysterious, and she just has this darkness that you can kind of feel coming off of her at all times. It's just very interesting the ride that these two characters take. You know, there's so much back and forth. It definitely holds up to that mystery that you get from the trailer. There's so many spinning plates here. I'd say if they're spinning 100, they only dropped a few, which is remarkable for this kind of a movie.
So a good mystery obviously only succeeds if you care about the outcome. From very early on in this movie, I cared about the outcome, and it was all because of the characters. The characters are extremely interesting. This movie kind of reminded me of Thoroughbreds in a very different way. But the same thing goes for Thoroughbreds, where you have these characters that are magnetic and it draws you in and keeps you locked into the movie. So if you saw Thoroughbreds, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The second part of this movie is absolutely the script, because what's a good mystery if you don't have twists and turns that are worth watching? So obviously we can't go into any of the twists and turns here. I'm not going to give anything even close to details. But I can tell you that this script keeps you guessing. You're never going to figure it out, because that's not the way the film is built. The film is built for you to enjoy the ride and just kind of enjoy the journey. It's not built to give you enough for you to figure it out. It's not one of those Sixth Sense movies. It's not a twist kind of movie. It's more of a, this is going to keep unfolding and you're going to keep saying WTF over and over again. I really enjoyed the story. I found myself intrigued. Even in the moments towards the middle of the movie where it got a little slow and the pacing was a little off, I was still so locked in and so curious of the outcome that I just could not, my eyes just would not leave the screen. I was locked on these characters. Now, the third aspect of the movie is the way it's filmed, the cinematography, the shot composure, things like that. And man, is that interesting. I have to say that it has a very unique way that they film some of the scenes. You'll have two characters talking about a situation while it's showing you the flashback or the situation. And what you're seeing is the truth, and what they're saying is the lie, and you're trying to figure out when someone's going to say what's happening or figure it out, because you see what's really happening, but you hear what they're saying is different. It's hard to describe until you see one of these scenes, but it was very intriguing, and it definitely adds a layer to it. It keeps you guessing and keeps you on the edge of your seat, adds a little bit of tension, and I really enjoyed that.
This movie does have some strange pacing problems towards the center. They're pretty easily pointed out. There are a few scenes that maybe go on a little longer than they should. There's always some little parts of exposition that you can pick up, and I definitely want to see this movie again to see if I can maybe dig in and find out some of the reasons why they stretched some of the scenes in the middle rather than shortening them up to kind of make it a little more concise. But it definitely doesn't bring away from the movie as a whole. You still feel like you're glad to be on the ride and that it's something worth watching.
Overall, this movie is one hell of an experience. It is extremely entertaining. You, if anything, will walk out of this movie going, wow, that was quite a fun trip. Like, no doubt. So if you saw this trailer and you're at all intrigued, or just based off of what we're saying here, at all intrigued, I highly suggest seeing this movie. This is not the big release for this week. The big release is Predator, but I had a feeling there was going to be a lot of curious people out there because I was super curious about this movie. And let me tell you, go see it. So I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. The only reason it loses a point is because there's some pacing issues and they're pretty serious towards the center. But talk about a great mystery. The character-driven story, the acting, the quirkiness, the sarcastic banter, the twists and turns, and then the climax. What an amazing movie. I highly suggest seeing this if you are at all interested.
So overall, this is going to be a unanimous score again, 9 out of 10 for me. It's not the world's most perfect movie, but it was definitely excellent fare for this time of year. I definitely want to see it again. I'll probably see it before it leaves theaters. Go out and check this out if you're into any kind of mystery movies, or if you like Anna Kendrick or Blake Lively. Like I said, these are some of their best performances to date.
If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We give you multiple videos every single week. And we have t-shirts available if you're interested in those as well. Those are available down in the description below. We hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.